This is a big crowd. I was just coming in watching Fox say there are very few people here. Do you believe these people? Boy. They'll do anything, every one of them, every one of them. I'll tell you what, the media, folks, is no good. They're no good. Very dishonest. In 14 days, we're going to win the state of Florida. We're going to win back the White House. We are going to win Florida. And by the way, the lines at the voting booths are record. And I noticed that a lot of the people online, you see the pictures. They're wearing the red hat, the white hat, this hat. They're wearing buttons all over the place. I think those are people that are inclined to vote for us. Do you agree? Yeah. So this was supposed to be a rally in that hangar. And after the first hour, they realized that wasn't going to work too well. That's fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Look at that. We're going to have a big victory. The lines are record-setting, which I knew they'd be, and a lot of people are being very surprised. It's very, very surprising. We're getting a big vote, so it's going to be a little early to tell you what those numbers are, but it's a big, big vote in the state of Florida. We're leading Iowa. We're leading Ohio. We're doing great in North Carolina. Pennsylvania, we're going to a lot. I think we're going to do great there. They put the miners out of work. We're putting the miners back to work. I think we're going to do great there. 75% of the American people think our country is on the wrong track. Every poll says it. We are going to fix it, and we are going to get our country back on the right track very, very quickly. Together, we're going to deliver real change that once again puts America first. That begins with immediately repealing and replacing the disaster known as Obamacare. You saw what happened yesterday. The rates are going through the sky. We all knew that. I knew it before it was passed. I've been saying this for a long time. My first day in office, I'm going to ask Congress to put a bill on my desk getting rid of this disastrous law and replacing it with reforms that expand choice, freedom, affordability. You're going to have such great health care at a tiny fraction of the cost, and it's going to be so easy. It's just been announced that Americans are going to experience another massive double-digit hike. Now, they said 25%. Forget 20. You'll take 25%. It's going to be 60, 70, 80, 90%. In the great state of Arizona, it's over 100%. It is crazy. 1 in 5 Americans trapped in Obamacare will only have a single insurer to negotiate with in your state. Congratulations. Lots of fun. You're going to have to brush up on your negotiation ability, believe me. Even Bill Clinton admitted Obamacare is the craziest thing in the world, where people wind up with their premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. And then he was forced to take it back the following day because that night he suffered greatly. He suffered. Because Hillary Clinton wants to double up and triple up in Obamacare. The numbers will go through the roof. Your taxes will double and triple. And in the end, it's not affordable. You can't do it. The Democratic governor of Minnesota said the Affordable Act, remember this, the Affordable Care Act is no longer affordable. He doesn't know what to do. But I said this before it was passed. It couldn't have worked in a million years. Insurers are leaving. Companies are fleeing. And by the way, it's putting your companies out of business. It's putting your small businesses out of business. And Hillary Clinton, here's another thing we can say. I'm going to repeal it and replace it. She's going to expand it, and it's going to get more and more expensive. And it's no good anyway, because the deductibles are so high. I mean, unless you have a really long-term, serious problem at the highest level, you're never going to be able to use it, folks. Hillary Clinton wants to double down on Obamacare and make it even worse. She wants to put the government totally in charge of your health care. Despite the fact it's no good, it'll be much more expensive than even today. Repealing Obamacare and stopping Hillary's health care takeover is one of the single most important reasons that we must win on November 8th. What is a big crowd, by the way? A lot of people. It's a lot of people. Thank you. You know, it is funny because, you know, you listen to this phony media. I get a call an hour ago, and they say, sir, we have a problem. I say, oh, here we go. What is it? They said this, and I laugh. But they said the people don't fit into the hangar. I said, but that's a good problem, isn't it? Change has to come from outside our corrupt system. The fact that the Washington establishment has tried so hard to stop our campaign, which is actually a movement. This is a movement, folks. And this is the last time we're going to have a chance. 4 years, it's over. It's over. In 4 years, you don't have a chance. All these characters that want to run in 4 years, they can forget it. They're wasting their time. You don't have even a little bit of a chance. This is it. And we're really close. We're going to win Florida. By the way, no. These guys won't tell you that because they don't want to hear about it. But when they interview, these are the most corrupt people. When they interview the people standing on the line and they say, Trump, 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 they say, all right, let's get out of here. This is bad. This is bad news. These are the most dishonest, almost as dishonest as crooked Hillary. I love those pink signs. Women for Trump. I love the signs behind me. Blacks for Trump. I like those signs. Blacks for Trump. You watch. You watch. Those signs are great. Thank you. There's going to be a lot of Brexit happening in about 2 weeks. A lot of Brexit. Remember that? Everybody went to bed. They said, oh, gee, I think it's not going to. And I said it was going to happen. And they criticized me. Can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy? Just like crooked Hillary. She had a rally. You know, her rallies last for about 15 minutes and they have very few people. But she talked about how we want peace at our rallies and this and that. She hired people, thugs, to go into my rallies. 1,500 people, right? 1,500 people. Listen to this. $1,500 and an iPhone. Go in the rally and beat people up. Go into the rally and beat people up. And you remember in Pennsylvania and different places, in Chicago, remember that one? Where they were fighting. They found out our people are not so easy to beat up, that's for sure. But you remember? Remember they went in and there was a policeman with blood pouring down his face. There was another one with a badly gashed face. This was all thugs put in there. And then I'm listening to her talk about peace at our rallies. We want peace. This is one of the great phonies of all time, and she shouldn't be allowed to run for president with what she's done, I'll tell you right now. The fact that the Washington establishment has tried so hard to stop this movement is only more proof that our campaign represents the kind of change that only arrives once in a lifetime. This is once in a lifetime. I'm telling you, I opened the door, I looked out the window, I said, wow, because it's so different from what they report. These people up here, they are the worst. And you know what it's called? By the way, you know what it's called, don't you? It's called voter suppression. Because people give up. People give up. And we're going to win Florida, and we're going to win Iowa, and we're going to win Ohio, right? And I think we're going to win Pennsylvania, and we're going to win North Carolina. We're going to have a lot of victories. Just keep it going, folks. We're fighting a crooked establishment, and just about the biggest part of the crooked establishment are these people right back there with the phony cameras. They're a bunch of phony lowlifes. And do you remember Obama last week? The campaigning president, he doesn't get you jobs. He gives you lousy health care that you're going to pay so much for you're not going to be able to afford it. You can't afford it now. He can't beat ISIS. He's a lousy president. And you remember when I said that some of the voting is rigged? Okay, everybody knows. Check out Philadelphia, Chicago, St. Louis. And he said, this is a threat to our system. This is terrible. This is a threat. Okay, I figured, gee whiz, wow, that's pretty bad. Except last night on television, I'm watching Obama from 8 years ago. And he's basically saying that the whole thing is fixed. Before he won his first race, he was talking about voting. And he said, remember, I come from Chicago, they do. Give me a break. This guy's such a phony guy. What a phony. What a phony group. Take a look. You got to look at it. You got to look at it. A clip last night, in fact, it was on Sean Hannity. You got to look at it. And you see that, I said, I don't believe that he would have said that after knowing he made these said. But basically, he said it's rigged. And he said, I know, because I come from Chicago. Give me a break. What a phony guy. Real change begins with ridding Washington of corruption, of which there's a plenty going around. And believe me, folks, I've been saying it for a long time. The system, the whole system is rigged. The whole system is rigged. Go back to Obamacare for a second. Remember Obama? You can keep your plan, you can keep your doctor. He said it 28 different times. Keep the plan, keep the doctor. Keep your plan, keep your doctor. He lied. Remember he had Jonathan Gruber of MIT, where my uncle was a professor for 35 years. But he had Jonathan Gruber from MIT, and he was the architect of the plan. And remember, he called the American people stupid for going along with Obamacare. Then he tried to take it back. He couldn't take it back. It was a disaster. The problem is, folks, they all have a memory, including us. 2 weeks, and we forget. But I don't forget. And you know what? I bring it up. Jonathan Gruber said the American people are essentially stupid for approving and allowing Obamacare to happen. And you know what? We've got to show them on November 8th that we're not stupid. We're not stupid. And here's another beauty. A breaking news story today provides one of the most shocking revelations to date. As you may remember, President Obama claimed to have no knowledge whatsoever of Hillary Clinton's, illegal email server. I have no knowledge of it. I don't know. This guy, he's as bad as she is. And he's got to stop campaigning and bring us some jobs, okay? That jeopardized national security, her email server. But newly public emails, WikiLeaks, prove otherwise. A Clinton spokesman, Josh Warren, sent an email saying, quote, looks like the president just said he found out Hillary Clinton was using her personal email when he saw it on the news. Oh, that's nice. But Cheryl Mills, Clinton's chief of staff, the State Department, replied, quote, listen to this, we need to clean this up. He has the emails from her. They do not say state.gov. They don't say it. In other words, Mills was saying Obama, he had to know that Hillary was using an illegal server, but he claimed otherwise. So that means Obama is now into the act. And now I understand that despite his hatred of the Clintons, because I know one thing, Bill hates him, but despite his hatred, now I understand why he pushed her. Because he didn't want to get caught up in the big lie. He's caught up now, folks. We have to investigate the investigation, this investigation. So listen to this. Crooked Hillary Clinton bleached and deleted 33,000 emails, lied to Congress under oath, made 13 iPhones disappear, some with a hammer, then told the FBI she couldn't remember 39 times. Bad memory. Incredible. But we have also just learned that one of the closest people to Hillary Clinton, with long-standing ties to her and her husband, the closest person, I can tell you that, gave more, listen to this, just happened yesterday, gave more than $675,000 to the campaign of the wife of a top FBI official who oversaw the investigation into Mrs. Clinton's illegal email server. In other words, the man who was in charge of the investigation of Hillary Clinton accepted essentially from Hillary Clinton $675,000 that went to his wife. Never happened before. Never happened. Not in this country's history. This is a disgrace, and she shouldn't be allowed to run for president. She shouldn't be allowed. She's a crook. Remember this. Remember this. Just remember this. So important. Donna Brazile, head of DNC, got the answers to a debate and the questions to a debate. So she has the questions. She gave them to crooked Hillary. And I don't know if you saw Donna Brazile the other night on television. What a mess that was, the way she didn't know what to do. Well, how did you get them? They were sent by Russia. You know, they're always using Russia, like I have nothing to do with Russia. They were sent by Russia and Donald Trump, you know. These people, and yet they have more because Hillary Clinton gave them 20% of our uranium, gave Russia for a big payment. And her man has to do with Russia, the whole thing. They're a bunch of crooks. I'm telling you, our country is in such trouble. So Donna Brazile has the questions. She gives them to crooked Hillary. Okay, now here's what I'd like. Wouldn't it be great if crooked Hillary, you know, it's funny, I wonder if she had the questions the other night to our debate, because everybody tells me I killed her in that debate, which I think I did. So Donna Brazile gives her all of the questions. And what happens? Hillary should turn them in, of course, right? Listen, I can't do this. She didn't turn them in. She used them. And we found out through WikiLeaks that this happened. And nobody goes after her. Can you imagine if I got the answers or the questions to a debate? It would be the electric chair, right? No. It would be the biggest story in the world. And they're not doing anything with Donna Brazile, and they're not doing anything with crooked Hillary Clinton. She got the answers to a debate. She got the questions to a debate. And she didn't turn herself in, meaning, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to have this. By the way, what a great act that would have been if she did it. We would have all been shocked if she did it. But wouldn't that have been nice? The criminal conduct of Hillary Clinton threatens the foundations of democracy. I mean that. But we're going to turn it around, folks. I proposed a contract with the American voter that will give the government back to the people. And just so you understand, and you know this, I didn't need this. I didn't need this. I was doing very well on the other side. I was, definitely doing well. I didn't need this, but I'll tell you, I love our country. I had to do it. I see where our country is going, and it's not good. It's really bad. My contract begins with a plan to end the rampant government corruption and to put the special interests out of business. It's all about special interests. I want everyone in Washington to hear and to heed the words I'm about to say. If we win on November 8th, we are going to Washington, D.C., and we together are going to drain the swamp. Under my contract with the American voter, we are proposing a series of ethics reforms on day one to end government corruption. They include a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Important. A lifetime ban on government officials lobbying for a foreign government. Do you believe this? They get out, they lobby for it, they make a fortune. A total ban on foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections. Thank you very much. We don't need your money. Under my contract, I'm also going to take a series of actions on day one to protect American workers. We are living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. They are taking our companies. They are taking our jobs. And our politicians, many of whom are stupid and many of whom are corrupt, are allowing it to happen. We're not going to allow it any longer. Our nation has lost 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, a deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported strongly by Hillary Clinton. And by the way, the single worst trade deal ever made in history, anywhere. Listen to this. Hard to believe. I've told you before, I thought this was a typographical error. We've lost 70,000 factories since China entered the World Trade Organization, WTO. Another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster. But they've been nicely paid. Look at all the money they have pouring in. $250 million, and they've been in government. It's a good government job. My contract includes the following. We will renegotiate NAFTA or withdraw from the deal to get a much better one for our workers and our companies. It's a one-way street. You know what I call it? It's a one-way highway right into Mexico. They get our jobs, they get our money, they get our plants and factories. You know what we get? Drugs and unemployment. That's what we get. We get nothing. It's a defective agreement, too, totally defective. We will withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, another beauty, the deal Hillary Clinton called the gold standard, and then during the debate she lied. She said, I never said that. Unfortunately, at the next debate, they announced she did say it. And she also said she never was Secretary of State when they talked about the red line and they said, I wasn't Secretary of State then, right? Remember? I wasn't She lied, she was. Even the so-called fact checkers, who are really crooked as hell themselves, by the way. These fact checkers, they'll check facts with me, and I'm like 99% right. And they'll say, and therefore, he lied. I say, whoa. I've gone through them where I said, oh, good, finally. They say, and therefore, he lied. Oh, boy, these people are bad. What a group of people we have. What a group of dishonest scum we have, I'm telling you. Hillary's Wall Street donors want it, and she'd approve it. If she ever got the chance, she will approve TPP so fast, and she intends to. Tim Kaine has even left the door open to passing TPP by another name. Let's change the name. And by the way, folks, we're going to win. But regardless, don't let it happen. It's too complicated. You do one deal with another. One. Make individual deals with individual nations. Deal with the ones we want to deal with. You got to see what this thing looks like, a piece of Swiss cheese. And if they default, you send them a letter of default. And by the time that 30-day notice ends, you'll have a new deal that's even better. This deal is too complicated. It's almost 6,000 pages long. And here's the thing. All of these other countries, they've read every single word, every comma, every period, every paragraph. I'll bet we have nobody that even reads these things, okay? And you're talking about bigger than running big companies. These are bigger deals. You can take a modest-sized trade deal. It's bigger than these big companies. And we have people that are political hacks negotiating. Not anymore. We have the greatest. I'm endorsed by some of the greatest business people in the world. We're going to use our great business people to make these deals. We will lift the restrictions on the production of American energy, which is getting clobbered with the EPA, and by the way, and with the restrictions, including shale, oil, natural gas, and clean coal. We're putting our miners back to work. Hillary wants to shut down American energy and put the miners out of work. She said it. We want the mines and the miners out of work. That's nice. Horrible. We're going to put the miners, the steel workers, and so many of our other workers that are being clobbered by the stupidity of our government's leadership. We're going to put them back to work, and that includes the steel workers. It's going to happen fast, too. Doesn't take a long time, folks. It's going to go fast. Additionally, on the first day, I will take the following actions to restore the rule of law. These include: I will cancel every illegal Obamacare executive order. We'll cancel all federal funding to sanctuary cities. Out. We will suspend immigration from regions comprised of radical Islamic terrorists, including the suspension of the Syrian refugee program, which is taking in thousands and thousands of people that we have no idea where they come from, no idea who they are. And crooked Hillary Clinton wants to have that increased by 550% over and above the crazy Obama numbers, okay? Tell you what, you vote for her, you're crazy, okay? I'll tell you. She is the worst. Next, I'll work with Congress to introduce a series of legislative reforms, and we'll fight for their passage in the first 100 days of my administration. And this legislation quickly includes Middle Class Tax Relief and Simplification Act. So essentially, a middle-class family with 2 children will get about a 35% tax reduction. Isn't that nice? It's about time. The middle class in our country has been devastated. And by the way, crooked Hillary wants to raise your taxes up to the sky. She wants to raise. We're the highest tax nation in the world. She wants to raise your taxes right up to the sky. And the Offshoring Act establishes tariffs to companies from laying off their workers and relocating to other countries, which is a disaster for us. We have companies, all of these. I could name 100 if you have all day. You could name 1,000. They close, they move to Mexico or some other place. They make their product, they sell it to us. We end up with unemployment all over. We end up with no taxes. We end up with closed plants. And they make a fortune in the other countries. So here's the story, folks, and I say it, whether it's cars, air conditioners. They want to close up and put our people out of work, go someplace else, build a new plant. And you know, the friend of mine who said all that he's never seen, the eighth wonder of the world, he said the plants and factories that he's building in Mexico, Donald, he's the biggest, is the eighth wonder of the world. I said, what about the United States? He goes, not so much. Nothing. It's so sad. It's so sad. So they want to build something, and they want to have their new plant, and they want to have non-U.S. workers. That's fine. Everything's fine. But they're going to pay a 35% tax every time that air conditioner car comes across the border. And you know what? Nobody's going to move. Here's the story, folks. A couple of politicians said, I've never thought of that. Can't think of it. They've been working on this thing for 10 years. They never thought. So either they're taken care of or they're stupid, right? Or both. So here's what's going to happen, though. Nobody's going to move. And if they do move, that's okay, too, because we're going to make a fortune, okay? So it's not the worst thing in the world. American Infrastructure Act. $1 trillion in public-private infrastructure investment. This includes help for projects like expanding the Orlando Sanford International Airport. You like that idea? Why not? True. They've been looking to do it for a long time. End illegal immigration. I have to tell you, our infrastructure, folks, is a mess. We're like a third world country. We have an infrastructure that's so bad. Our roads, our highways, our schools, our tunnels, our bridges. Look at our bridges. Half of them have reports that they're in serious danger. We will build the wall, and we will impose tough, mandatory minimum remember this. Tough, mandatory minimum prison sentences for deported illegal immigrants who try to re-enter the country. They keep coming back and back and back. And if they know they go away for 5 years, if we catch them, they're not coming back, folks. How simple is it? How simple is it? Thousands of Americans have been killed by illegal immigrants. In January of last year, and you probably heard this story. Everybody's heard this story. Grant Ronebeck, 21 years old, a beautiful, beautiful young person, was working at a convenience store in Mesa, Arizona, when he was shot in the face, point blank, by an illegal immigrant for no reason. The killer was out on bond. He was roaming free despite many previous arrests and violence. And the word from other people that knew him, please do not let him go free. Shot this young man right in the face. In another incident, 25-year-old Spencer Golvek was sitting in his car at a stoplight after dropping off his girlfriend. An illegal immigrant in a pickup truck pulled up beside Spencer and without saying anything and for no reason took out a gun, pointed it at his head, and pulled the trigger, killing him instantly. The killer had been deported 4 times. We weren't supposed to take him back. We took him back. He had a massive, lengthy criminal record, and people said, please don't take this guy back. Dead. By the way, hundreds of stories, hundreds. I've spent a lot of time with Spencer's mom, Julie, a member of the Remembrance Project, one of the great groups of people. They're devastated. They're devastated. 60-year-old Margaret Kostelnick was shot to death by an illegal immigrant last July in Ohio. Earlier that day, her killer attempted to rape a 14-year-old girl, shot a 3rd woman in the arm while he was with her children, and did massive other damage to other people. Police encountered the man more than 3 weeks before the crime spree, but federal authorities refused to take him into custody, even though they knew he was very dangerous. They didn't want to get involved, so you have carnage. This crime wave ends when Donald Trump becomes president. Believe me. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, is totally for open borders. There goes your country, which would mean the destruction of our country. It would really mean that. You got to have borders. If you don't have borders, we don't have a country. She also wants to expand illegal executive amnesty, which would be really shred. It would shred our Constitution. Restoring National Security Act, which will eliminate the Obama-Clinton defense sequester, allow us to rebuild our military, and gives veterans, how many veterans? The right to seek private medical care when they can't get proper service. The veterans are waiting online for 6, 7, 8 days. They can't even get to see a doctor. 22 suicides a day from our veterans. You believe that number? 22 a day. Under my plan, not only will we modernize our Navy's cruisers, but we'll also invest in the technologies of the future being developed right here in Central Florida. My plan also includes major investments in space exploration, also right here. You know what we call this place? Over the last 8 years, the Obama-Clinton administration has undermined our space program tremendously. That will change. So many good things come out of it, including great jobs. And it'll change very quickly under a Trump administration. And it'll change before it's too late. You ever see what's going on with space, with Russia and different places? And us, we're like watching. Isn't that nice? So much is learned from that, too. As a cornerstone of my policy, we will substantially expand public-private partnerships to maximize the amount of investment and funding that is available for space exploration and development. This means launching and operating major space assets right here that employ thousands and spur innovation and fuel economic growth. I will free NASA from the restriction of serving primarily as a logistics agency for low Earth orbit activity. Big deal. Instead, we will refocus its mission on space exploration. Under a Trump administration, Florida and America will lead the way into the stars. With a victory in November, everything will change. Just think about what we can accomplish in the first 100 days. In closing, we're going to have the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan, and actually even bigger. We're going to eliminate every unnecessary job-killing regulation. They're choking our businesses to death. We're going to provide school choice and put an end to Common Core and bring our education local. We're going to support our great men and women of law enforcement. We will save our Second Amendment, which is totally under siege, and appoint justices to the Supreme Court of the United States who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. Republicans have to finally get smart and come together. This is our last chance. This is bigger than me or any of us. It's about our country. This is about ending Obamacare. This is about the Supreme Court. This is about rebuilding our military and taking care of our vets, strengthening our borders, and keeping our companies and jobs from leaving our beloved country. This is about restoring the rule of law, saving our Constitution, and keeping radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. I invite all Americans, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, first-time voters, to join this incredible movement a movement the likes of which has never been witnessed in this country before. Never, never. Never been anything like this. Let's not blow it, folks. November 8th. Get out sooner if you can. It's a movement powered by our love for America and our love for our fellow citizens. We're in a divided country. We're going to bring everybody together, not just the people here. We're going to bring everybody together. We're going to fix our inner cities. I'll tell you what, our inner cities are so bad right now. The danger, the crime, the lack of education, no jobs. African Americans are living in hell in the inner cities. I mean, they're living in hell. You walk to the store for a loaf of bread, you get shot. We're going to fix our inner cities. We're going to fix. Remember this. Remember this. Just remember this. So important. For years, the Democrats have controlled the inner city, some up to 100 years, some over 100 years, unbroken. I say to the African-American community and to the Hispanic community, what the hell do you have to lose? I will fix it. We will make them good. We'll make them safe. We'll bring back jobs. We'll create good schools and education. I will fix it. We will fix our inner cities. Hillary Clinton's been lying about the inner cities for years. She's not going to do anything. Frankly, you want to know the truth? She doesn't have the energy to do anything. She doesn't have the energy. I'm going to fight for every citizen of every background from every stretch of this nation. I'm going to fight for every person in this country who believes government should serve the people, not the donors and not the special interests. I'm going to fight to bring us all together as Americans. Just imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people, under one God, saluting one American flag. Once again, we will have a government, right? Once again, we will have a government of, by, and for the people. Of, by, and for the people. Folks, we want to end Obamacare. We want to go to a plan that's so much better and so much less expensive, right? We want to have borders, and we want people to come into our country. We welcome people, but they have to come in through a legal process. So we're going to have a wall, but it's going to have a big, beautiful door. And people are going to come into our country, but they're going to come in illegally. And by the way, just in case there's any question, yes, Mexico will pay for the wall, 100%. Think about when you get in the voting booth, the United States Supreme Court. Just think about it, because I'll tell you what, you put the wrong justices on the Supreme Court, and this country will never, ever be the same. It will never be what you had hoped it would be. So just think about the United States Supreme Court. And we're going to bring, so importantly, I got into this because of the border and the terror, but because of the border and because of trade. And the trade is so easy for me. It's so obvious what's happening when our companies are flocking out. We're going to fix our trade. We're going to bring jobs back to our country, including this area right here, which has been devastated. Together, if we win on November 8th, and I really believe we will, we better, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again, and we will make America great again. Thank you very much. God bless you. Go out and vote. God bless you.